Jam. Cooler and a flyer too.
What's good? What's good, everybody? Sorry for the delay this morning. For those who were waiting around for 11 o'clock to come, things happen, life happens. But we are back. A1 Forever Sports, the show that's cool and fly too, man. I have some pretty cool dudes with me today up on here talking some Atlanta Hawks right before start of the season tomorrow night, Brooklyn Nets. And man, I'm gonna let the guys introduce themselves, man. I got Bryce Lewis and I got Chris Royster, man. I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and tell the people what's up, man. I'm gonna start with Chris.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Chris Royster. I'm the host of Around the ATL, just talking about those Atlanta Hawks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Obviously, Bryce Lewis, you already know, podcast host of Believe in Hawks. Obviously, talk about Atlanta Hawks, also some Atlanta Hawks content as well. So glad to be on the show with the guys talking some Hawks basketball.
Yeah, man. I gotta try to catch up to y'all, man. Y'all already dropped Hawks videos already, man. My goodness. Y'all moving too fast, moving too
I
fast.
was up
Now,
at 6:30 this morning, man.
right, man. Y'all, hey, man, keep up the great work, you did. Keep up the great work.
Sure.
But yes, man, hey, we got some news coming out of the ATL, man. I want to jump right into it. Most of y'all already know it. And it is Jalen Johnson, man. Jalen Johnson gets extended. And he didn't just get extended, he got extended on a team-friendly deal. That deal was very, very team-friendly. So, what do you guys think about the JJ being extended and just the nature of the deal for the Hawks franchise?
I mean, for me, when I saw the deal, I was very happy with it. I'm glad we were able to get him locked up. Obviously, there's no option in the deal, so he will be a Hawk for 5 years. No fourth year, after the fourth year, there's an option for the fifth, things of that nature. Obviously, this is a guy who, I think a lot of people have the expectation to become a all-star level player, potentially a star player, depending on who you are, depending on what you think of JJ. Everybody has different opinions. And obviously, he's a guy that they feel like can play really well with Trey. And be maybe that duo, that number two option that they've been looking for, that maybe DeJounte wasn't, and they've been looking for before that. So something that, like I said, I like the deal. People forget in today's NBA landscape, $30 million is not insane like it was maybe like 5 years ago. Because star players now can make 70 million. So JD is getting 40 less than that. So I mean, it people don't understand the wide range of money these players can make. But overall, I mean, I really like the deal, and also it kind of just goes with a string of deals that Landry has made. Obviously, Okongwu, obviously Big Krejci, even DeJounte last year when we signed him to that extension, he could have got more money, and that's the one thing you hear. JJ could have held out, got more money next year. Other guys could have held out, got more money, but they took these deals, and that also shows me that clearly they must want to be on the team. They must want to be in Atlanta if they're willing to do that. So like I said, I think JJ just continued that. And now I think it's good they've been able to lock him up as a core piece. And, now okay, this is a guy we are building, cornerstone guy with Trey. And obviously we'll have to see how Rishi work shakes out, because then his contract situation in a few years. Because the good thing about this contract, his last couple of years are his least expensive years. So that may be very ideal when you're thinking about some of the extensions they have to give out with some of the young players coming up in the next few years.
Definitely.
I believe it's a timing thing. And to go in regards to the building blocks part of it, just thinking about, let's see, how can I say this? Not messing things up to the point of you can still be competitive, and that's where the team friendly comes in a little bit. But again, just as far as just the franchise goes, to say we ain't playing around. We have we got a potential 20-8 player right now to go along with Trey Young to do these things together for the next 5 whatever years. We need to do that because that gives me an indication maybe they are going to try to do something next year to bring in that other player as well, possibly, and or continue. Because one thing I did say on a couple of shows ago, the last time the Hawks made any moves to kind of try to address any issues was 2020, right? And what happened in the 2020 season? We're 2 games away from the finals. You want to say all the happenstance or whatever, we beat teams to get there, though.
Yeah,
okay,
we had
led by a third-year Trey Young. So this year, you took some people away, you brought some people in. again, depending on how to use them, starters, bench, or whatever, I believe that this goes a long way in just kind of solidifying that. And what Bryce just said also, some of those deals look like some people wanted to be here for real, right? Sometimes
Right.
things work out, but people want to be here. There's a difference, right? So I think that goes into it to say, look at what we have here. Wouldn't you want to also play with Trae Young and Jalen Johnson too, right? So I
There
think
you
that
go.
goes into
There
it as
you go.
well to say we got something, and like Bryce also said, and both you too, what is that going to do? And I believe if we start him as the number one draft pick and don't bring him off the bench like crazy people might do, that goes a long way into the perception as well as far as the franchise goes to say they're at least going to give him a shot to win Rookie of the Year. Can we do that for once, right? So I think those things kind of fall all into place, and being able to do it right before the season is a good thing. So I think it was a great move.
Yeah, man, I agree with both of you guys, man. You guys have really just laid it out perfectly, man. Honestly, team friendly deal. You lock up, you got your guy next to Trae Young. And my thing is that I was saying that JJ can be a 20-8, possibly 20-10 type of a player. It all depends on, the flow of the game. But I believe that he's going to hunt his own shot. And he's going to show that, hey, I'm worth the money. And hey, we do have something that we're building down here in Atlanta. We just need you, and possibly even you talking about recruiting people. So, like, it goes a long way because it gives them flexibility in the future to do some things. We know the Hawks don't have a lot of flexibility, so it's a beautiful thing to see. I'm happy that JJ went ahead and got this deal done, and the Hawks got the deal done before the season because this is going to look like a steal not too long. Some people may look at it and be like, "Wow, anybody can get some money." That's what I've been seeing people say, but if you just really break it down, it's like, man, what you mean? That's 5 years for a player of the caliber of JJ. And if he is the player that we think he's going to be, man, we just really just got him for pennies. He messed around and make an all-star team and, help the Hawks get to the 6th seed or better. Come on now. That's going to be a steal.
It's almost basically like an Ozzy Albies deal for the Braves. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
it is. That's exactly
When
what
you
it
really
is.
think of it like that, as far as just your output part, the production part of it, I
Right.
mean, again, the sky's the limit.
Definitely, sky's the limit, guys. But we also have some bad news at the same time, man. We get good news with JJ, bad news with Buff the Stuff, Kobe Buffkin. Like, for the second year in a row, he's going to be unavailable to start the season. And, it's things that I'm trying to figure out what's the man doing in practice because the man is hurting himself in practice. What are you doing? You trying to do 360 windmills or something? Like, what's going on? Regardless, we're not going to have Kobe Buffkin, our backup point guard, and that's going to hurt the Atlanta Hawks. So that's going to shift some things. We may have some guys playing out of position. We may have to call some guys up for added depth and help. What do you guys think about Kobe Buffkin missing really his second straight season opener?
I mean, obviously it's unideal, clearly. Especially because this was a year where they were looking at this as like, okay, we're gonna put him in the rotation, see what he does, see his growth, things of that nature. Obviously dealing with injuries that he's dealt with. This is the same shoulder he injured in the summer league. So, we'll see if, when you re-injure something, does that mean you're out longer? Does that mean, is it, I'm assuming it's not super serious, but we'll wait till we actually get some actual results to actually be able to declare that. But like I said, a bummer that that's happening. Obviously, from a perspective, you've said there's have to be a shift. I mean, you're probably thinking Dyson and Vic Krejci as your two guys. Because I've said Vic Krejci is like the emergency guy to me. He's not firmly in rotation, but like literally if anybody gets hurt, he'll be the first person off the bench because he can play 1 through 4. So he can pretty much just fill in for anybody if needed. And then Dyson, which is going to be interesting because I know they would rather use Dyson as a 2 or a 3 and just let him focus on playmaking from that spot and just being that type of player than him having to actually run the offense. Because obviously we don't know how much work he's even had doing that. So they probably did more with Vic in that regards. And then, of course, Dyson. So that's probably what you're looking at right now. But overall, I guess after Kobe, it sucks that he's having these constant injuries and things of that nature because obviously he'll get that label of injury prone, and especially so in his second year. Obviously, you don't want that perception to happen. Obviously, injuries happen in this game, But obviously, I think with the consistency that he's having these injuries is where you have some concerns. So obviously, hope for him to get back right and be able to play for a while when he gets back, because obviously he's a guy that they're counting on, a guy they have huge expectations for, and a guy that a lot of people are looking for the ever loving question of who will be filling that backup point guard position. Before DeJounte got here, that was a question, and then we saw what happened with that, and then now they're back to no DeJounte, so you got to have a guy and trying to figure that out. So, but I'm also like, I'm curious to see how Quinn kind of handles it. How does that change what they want to do? And then also, if this is an opportunity for like a guy like Vic Krejci, like how does he do in that opportunity? I mean, you technically have a 6'8" point guard, so defensively, I don't feel like it may change that much. But we'll have to see how the offense, when Trey is off the floor, how that looks. And then it says, and as we see it, does that potentially affect Trey's minutes? Does that make you be like, maybe we got play? He'll probably play what, 34, 35 average starter minutes, depending on what's happening. Do you bump him up to 38 if the offense struggles? Things of that nature. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that.
It'll be interesting. What you got, Chris?
Dyson was not brought here to be a point guard, for one. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there. Okay. Number two, it does test. This is our first test right off the bat as far as depth, because it gives Vit another chance to say, okay, could you be, backup? But really, for me, Kobe is the backup. We've needed a number two backup since doggone Jeremy Lin and Lou Will. Okay. The stagger thing did not work. I said it wasn't going to work, and it did not work. We need a legitimate, and I actually did a show showing all the number twos of the Eastern Conference. And I'm like, I believe Kobe can match up with most of these guys or if beat them. Okay. We need somebody to actually spell Trae Young and to run the second team. That being said, since Kobe ain't going to be able to do it again, I think it does fall to Vic, because he would be the better passer as far as on the running of the offense, as far as just purely being able to do that. Plus, his size will help out too. Okay.
Definitely.
Rather than thinking about, okay, well, we got to have Dyson and stuff, starting Dyson at the two, as I think he should, and he looks like he will, or Bogey, for crying out loud, doing it. No. Let Vic be the point guard. Let Bogey be the backup shooting guard to come in and spell after Dyson, and we'll run that until Kobe comes back. Because I think, again, just having the veterans coming off the bench, and this is where I would love for Hunter to come off the bench, because he did it last year. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I would love for Clint to come off the bench, because then you have three proven veterans coming off your bench, making our team triple deep, deeper than we've ever had it before, to be able to back up your starting lineup of Trey, Dyson, or Rookie of the Year. I'm throwing it out there. Zachary, JJ, and then Okongwu finally. Okay, so if we could do that, I think we'll be able to compete a lot more than we have. We can play 5-on-5 finally, but it only works if we do have that backup point guard. Because if you start trying to stagger to all that and everything again, you create all kind of mishaps and things of that nature. And the whole reason of having Nance here and Dyson and all that is to be able to help with switches, help with rotations and things of that nature on the front end against all these wings that we keep giving up points to. Again, we gave up 30 points a game to shooting guards last year and 27 a game to small forwards. We can't do that again and think we're going to win anything. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to see Kobe have an opportunity. But if he can't stay healthy, we got to start looking at that a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? This is, again, back-to-back season. We can't use him at the beginning of the season. And then when he does come back, how long will it take him to get back into it? Depending on how long he's actually out. Now, this time, like Bryce said, I don't think he's going to be out that long this time, but who knows, right? That's the only concern I have about that. But otherwise, I mean, we saw that he can do it. Like, we saw that he can do it and handle the pressure and handle the shots and things of that nature. So I'm not worried about that. It's just health. You can't help if you're not available.
Indeed. And reps help a player, man, to be able to gain that confidence. And I hated that, he's going to be missing reps, in the beginning of the season, but he'll be back. I agree with you guys about, using maybe Vit at the point guard role. I would like him more so than Dyson. That's also, my opinion. Dyson, JJ, Vit, all on the court together possibly, or, having Vit running that second unit, just like you said, still having those veterans right there too. It also would help Vit as well to have some guys that he can trust and that can be in the right position and everything when he's trying to navigate the offense. So, like, I would like to see
And one quick
whatever.
thing about Vic, real quick, we don't
Yeah,
really want him at the 3. That matchup
but
with
talking about
Jimmy
Pete,
Butler
right?
the other night was bad.
Oh
So we
yeah,
don't.
yeah. I mean, that's Jimmy Butler too, man. And you can't put Veet in that situation. Like you really can't.
He's better
Um,
against skinnier players than bigger players. That's his issue.
yeah,
Is that even though he's tall, if you put him against stronger players, he'll get back down. So it's
he's
like
gonna get back down.
you could
Yeah,
do it, but like he would have to use his length in those defensive battles more than his strength. So that's the only
right.
thing with Vic.
Well, he gave up like
And we
25
already know.
points in that Heat preseason game, and like I said, I when I did my little breakdown or whatever, it's a matter of people knowing where they're supposed to be. But if you got to actually play straight up on someone, you got to be able to defend them a little bit. And I would be worried about him playing major minutes at a certain point just based off of that. So that's my only, little hesitation with him as far as that goes. That's why I was like, if Kobe is good, we'll be all right. But if Vic has to play, it's
Right.
only because it's an emergency, basically, and we can wing it at that point.
No, that's true. That's definitely true. Definitely, guys. I mean, we're gonna see how it goes, man. I really hate that Kobe's out of the lineup again because it just we want to be at full strength, but regardless, gives the other guys opportunity to step up, and it really just carries us right into the next topic, man. We got, and that is the expectations. What are the expectations for the Atlanta Hawks? Well, and I want to get you guys' thoughts and where you guys are expectations just to start the season. We won't even go, full length for the season, but just to start the season, what do you guys want to see?
I mean, biggest thing for me is just, I want to see obviously the cohesion of the team. Obviously, I feel like the pieces fit better than they have in previous years. So seeing how that fits together defensively, I want to see how that looks good. I think Trey, mentioned it yesterday. He said, we've been an offensive team since I've been here, but I feel like this may be the first year our defense may be able to keep up. So it'll be interesting to see how that looks just because of the versatility that they have now on the defensive end. And obviously you have probably potentially our first all-NBA defender in Dyson Daniels, depending on how the season goes, for the first time in forever in Atlanta. So I think that those are things that I want to see early, just see how that trends. It just, going through the normal things of an NBA season, you're going to go through some adversity. You're going to go through, foul trouble. You're going to go through different things. How do you respond? How does the team do in those situations? And just, continuing to figure out, okay, obviously Jalen, how does he play? Risha Shea, how does he look? Guys like that. And then I also say too, guys like Bogey and Congo really didn't play with guys like that in the preseason. So they're acclimating themselves to this new rotation that we have. So just seeing, like I said, that cohesion with the team on both offensively and defensively, because we've seen some things. If you look at the numbers, the Hawks scored a lot off assist at a higher percentage, which people are calling pinball. So obviously, that gives you an idea of the type of offense they want to kind of run, ball movement, things of that nature. That's why they added as many passers as they've added this offseason to be able to kind of anybody can play, make any part of the floor. So really curious just to see how that goes, especially with the schedule we have. I know a lot of people think, it's really soft to start the season. Obviously with the Nets, who are expected to be one of the worst teams in the league. I will keep my eyes on Charlotte just because there is some talent on that team. Even though people think Charlotte's going to be bad, there's talent on that team. So they kind of remind me of Cleveland 3 years ago when they when I remember we lost to them and everybody was like, oh my God, we lost to like one of the worst teams in the league. And they were a top 4 or 5 seed the majority of that season until they had injuries. And I just think that's just because we just assume, well, last year you sucked, so you have to suck this year. So, that's just how people would look at it. So definitely a team to look out for. Who we seem to play really well when we play against those guys. So just curious to see all those things and how that looks as we go forward before we get into our Knicks and Boston and Pelicans games.
Absolutely. Chris, what you got? What your expectations are for these Atlanta Hawks, man?
Well, I'm a bump on Bryce on that Hornets. The last Hornets game we played, we were up 92-77 fourth quarter, and we lost 115-114. So I'm gonna just throw that out there real quick.
Yep,
And that was really with just Brandon Miller on the team that in that particular case, and we had almost everybody. So, but I'm looking at the fact that we cannot have a slow start. No matter what, we can't come out the first 5-6 games of the season under 500. Somehow or another, we either have to split or we got to be a couple of games above 500 just for the principle of it all because of all these previous seasons of not having bad starts. And then you see how the season goes on. Injuries or not, you got to figure that out. In regards to continuity and things of that nature, I think that is going to go a long way. And again, preseason, training camp and all that, we don't get to see the whole kit and caboodle, so to speak. Preseason, we didn't get to see everybody playing serious minutes together and the actual rotations and stuff like that. So we're still kind of technically speculating things how it go. It's good to see Okongwu out there, though. So that's a bright spot to know, okay, he's actually available then, right? So I'm like, oh, so he actually could start if they wanted him to, right? So I'm hopeful for that part because, again, I just think him being able to do everything on the court as a big makes us a deeper team if he's playing the majority of the minutes and Clint coming in to back up and just getting all the rebounds galore. I just think that makes us just a deeper team than we've never had before. And then especially with Cat being in the East now and all these other guys in the East that Okongwu actually plays really good straight up defense against because he can move his feet. But also he can play post defense. He can switch. He can rotate. My only concern of the beginning of the season is those 4 preseason games. After doing my shot for shot review, nothing really has changed on the defensive side since 2023 either.
Right.
Okay? We're not blocking out. We're not getting back on defense. We're not talking on defense at all. We're not
definitely not talking on defense.
I mean, that OKC game, we gave up 17 threes again. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that I'm concerned about. Again, some of the starters being here and other players that can mitigate some of it, but just the basic stuff, I just need a little bit more tightening up of the screws, so to speak, for me to be comfortable. But for these first couple of games coming out, and I think Bryce mentioned about the schedule being kind of soft, quote unquote, we need to take advantage of it. We do need to try to beat the teams we're capable of beating one way or the other. We got to have a good start because if we have a good start, we have a chance to really, at least make a little bit of noise. And, again, how many games did we lose last year? We can't be looking like that no more. It's time, right? We got to change that up. And this is the year to do it because after now, again, we got contracts coming off the books next year and things of that nature. Everybody is watching what the Hawks are going to do right now. So I think that's big to can we get a good start for a change?
Yeah. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's one of my keys. Can we get a fast start? We tend to start slow or tend to start a little hobbled. I think if we can get off to a fast start, that would finally bode well for the Atlanta Hawks. Like, seriously. I want to see guys talking. I want to see guys just communicating. I'm on the floor. I want to see rotations. Like, I want to see when one guy run into another guy, just go ahead and start rotating. I would like to see that from, more of our bigs. I know Clint was doing okay, but you still seeing Clint do some of those things where he backing off of guys. I don't want to just give guys, the opportunity to shoot like that because if I'm not mistaken, last year the Hawks gave up about 15 threes per game. And 14, well, still, 14, threes per game. That's still a lot, and that's not good. Guys are rotating and moving the ball on the Hawks in the past, and the Hawks wouldn't be able to basically rotate their defense to the right offensive player. And next thing you know, there's another three. When the person is already in his shooting pocket and in his shooting motion, you're too late. You're the NBA, you're too late. So therefore, like I want to see guys, communicating on defense. I feel like the offense is going to come and they'll be fine. My thing is, did you get better on defense and can you show it? So that's going to be very key for me because that's going to be a telltale, even though it's an early start, like if you're not getting back on defense, if you're not communicating, if you're not boxing out, because we don't have like a lot of big men, so boxing out is going to be key for 1 through 5, to be honest, I think. So yeah, that's some things that I'm looking forward to. I hope the Atlanta Hawks can go ahead and pull it off. They have all the tools. They just got to put it together, fellas. That's what it is for me. They just got to put it together.
And one tidbit to look at too is, and somebody mentioned this is true. Last year, you got to remember they were, especially at the beginning season, I think they were much more of an aggressive blitzing defense because of the fact that they were like, well, we can't defend at the top our point of attack, so we have to be aggressive. And so that would be one of the reasons why teams can backcook the Hawks to death, and everything, because basically Clint has to help blitz whatever is happening, which is leaving the lane open. With the fact that we have Dyson and some better defenders, one thing they said to look out for is now it may be something since Clint's had to do it for the last 2 years. It's like, you're just used to doing that. But now he doesn't have to, or any big doesn't have to blitz, because now you can trust Dyson. You can trust whoever at that point
that will have help defense on the back end. So
exactly, so you don't have to. You can just protect the rim, and then that can help us from getting back cut. Because when I get it, you don't have any trust, or your coach is like, we can't defend it. You have to kind of play a certain style, and now they don't. So that's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to that. Because like I said, they've been doing it for the last 2 years. They're now able to kind of play a bit differently defensively from that perspective, and so that's just something they're going to have to be able to get down. So that way, it's like, because like I said, I feel like it's like you do it for so long, it's like, oh, okay. Usually this situation I would help. Well, I don't have to now. I think Dyson got it. I'll stay back here, defend whatever I need to defend, and we'll rotate or do whatever as needed.
And let me say this real quick, because somebody will be like, well, you're helping on Trey. It's not that they were helping on Trey. It was helping on whoever the other person was, because people were not attacking Trae Young. There weren't people calling for a screen and say, hey, I'm Joel Embiid. Come give me a screen so I could be on Trae Young. It ain't that. It's a matter of whoever the ball handler is and someone screens, nobody is. The whole premise is your big is going to the ball handler rather than, are we actually getting screened, or is this ball handler just coming over? I need to actually stay with my big and not let him cut to the basket for a dunk, because nobody's going to come over. That was what was happening more so than anything. You see what I'm saying? What needs to happen is just a little bit of extra coaching to say, watch what's happening, look, check your peripherals, and just switch sometimes. Just switch over so that way you don't have anybody open. I would just like seeing some of those adjustments, as well as, again, rotating to the open man. Or, hey, let's not stand in the paint, Garrison Matthews, and leave your man over here at the three-point line 25 feet away. And then you shrug your shoulders when he's hit a wide open three, because you never turned around to see where your man is. Like, those little things right there cost us those 14 threes a game, or 53 or more points in the paint every game. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we could just shrink in that just a little bit, again, the scoring has never been an issue, but it's the point in the paint, it's the fast break points. Again, we gave up 36 fast break points against OKC the other day. That's absurd.
And we gave up like 64 against the Philadelphia 76ers in preseason. That was half their points.
62 against the Heat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't. That's why I'm afraid of. I was like, that worries me, because again, we were 25th in points in the paint given up last year, 28th in fast break points given up, and we were 26th in block shots. That means nobody's getting a hand up most of the time. And again, I just need to see those basics of basketball. Can you get your hand up and jump to try to deter the shot? If you're not going to be able to get to your position, at least look like you're trying to stop the person, rather than because the league knows we won't do it, and they play to that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what worries me. Can we at least do that a little bit? Because we did this that much, we would double our win total from a year ago, literally. Like, it's really just that close. And so Trey saying it is a big deal, though, too, that he feels that we can be a better defensive team, because it does go through him as the leader. But it does mean the whole team has to do it, though. The whole team has to be in conjunction with that. Because the starting lineup and the bench all play a little bit of defense. I ain't telling them that we got to be, the Detroit Pistons or nothing from back in the day, but we need to be a little bit better at least.
Yep, I agree, man. So before we get up out of here, man, guys, I want to know, Final disposition on it. What's your Atlanta Hawks starting five?
Like what I think or what I would prefer.
No, what you think? What you think is going to be rolled out on opening night?
What I think is going to be rolled out. I
Here
think
it comes.
what I think is going to be rolled out is going to be Trey, Dyson, Hunter, Jalen, and Clint. Is what I think is going to be rolled out. Clint, you can make sense because Kongu's still working his way back. Because I mean, he said he was a little winded after the preseason game, so I don't know if you want to put start on minutes on him immediately. And DeAndre, I just think they're just looking at the fact that he is one of our, and I made this case before, he's one of our bigger, stronger players, technically. Richeche is one of our skinnier players. So I could see that changing as the season goes on, but at least at the start of the year, because Quinn mentioned that a couple of times. He's like, starting lineup might change throughout the season. So, I think they'll go with that, and then we'll see how things go. But I think that's what's going to be rolled out against Brooklyn.
On ESPN, that is the lineup projected as of right now, as far as starting lineup. So I just look at the fact that I would prefer Zach to start. But I mean, for worse for wear, it wouldn't be that bad because at the end of the day, with Hunter and Zach being the same position, their minutes being kind of even could work out depending on what Hunter does. Okay, when it comes down to it, because we know what Zach can do. He's ready to go right now, right? So as long as they don't start Bogey, if they start Hunter but not Bogey, I can maybe live with it as long as Okongwu is healthy, and he's ready to go, because eventually I think he is going to end up starting. But like Bryce just mentioned, if he's a little winded, maybe still kind of has him through and everything, it's just a matter of the transition needs to happen sooner than later. We don't need to be waiting until doggone February, to be saying, okay, now we're going to switch it over. No, we need to make these things happen a little bit more quickly in regards to, we really going to be serious about this or not. So, but yeah, that lineup probably is going to be the one that starts tomorrow night. But we'll see.
All right, man. Popping in a little late before we get in here. We're gonna get his thoughts though. Is T Will, one time for the fan and for my ATL Sports. T Will, man. If you can, let's see if we can put this in a nutshell for like. First of all, how do you feel about the Hawks starting lineup? Like, who do you think is going to be starting on tomorrow night?
I'm like, Brett, so you want who I think is going to be starting, not who I would start, right? And first of
Right.
all, to the gentleman in the upper right panel, how you doing, sir? My name's T. Wells. Very nice to meet you. I
You
believe
too. What's going on, man?
our first time gracing the stage together. Chris was telling me about.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. Now, okay, then now just now. So what's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. Apologies for my tardiness. I'm having network issues today, so guys, please forgive. Do apologize. Brycey, how you doing, man? You all right?
Yes, sir, man. I'm
Good
doing
deal,
all right,
brother.
man.
All right, so I'm not going to extend you guys too late. I graciously appreciate you letting me join. So who I think is going to start, I think exactly who Bryce said. Probably going to be JJ, Trey, Dice, Dre, and Clint is who I think is going to start. Now, who I would start, it wouldn't be Dre. So it'd probably be Trey, Dice, JJ, Richeche, and Clint and or Okongwu if he's healthy enough to do it. That's who I would start. Now, again, who they're gonna start, I don't know. But those are my thoughts.
Well, for me, I think honestly, I think who's going to start is going to be Trey, Dyson, DeAndre Hunter, Jalen Johnson, and Clint Capella. I think that's going to be the starting lineup to start, just because Okongwu's coming back. He may be still a little winded. He may be trying to, get his wind back. So I can see at least maybe one or two games, if he is going to be the starter, that they're going to wait on that and work him back into the offense. Dre's going to start. One, because of the contract, and two, to bring Richeche along, even though I believe before the season is out, possibly even before the All-Star break, I believe Ricochet is going to take over that starting job, and Dre will be going to the bench, like Chris was saying earlier, to have that veteran depth coming off the bench. I do see that later on in the season, but that's my thoughts. As far as the starting lineup on tomorrow night, that's what I think. It could definitely change. We may get a surprise. We'll see, but that's what I'm gonna go with. That's what I'm gonna go with, fellas. And real quick, T. Will, before we get up out of here, I just want to know what was your thoughts about Jalen Johnson's extension?
I thought it was a good move. I think he can handle it. I hope he can handle it. But my indications, to me, he seems to have a level of maturity. So I don't think it'll go to his head and he'll stop practicing and or focusing and or some guys you can't pay them too early because then they change. I don't think you'll get that with JJ. I think it'll be quite the opposite. I think he'll dig in even more, and I think it's a good move. It's 150. I mean, it's not too exaggerated, but I mean, it's decent. So I'm okay with it. I don't know what you guys thought about it, but I'm okay with it. I'll open it up to the panel. Bryce, how you feeling about it?
I was for the move. I'm glad we got him on the deal we got him on. Good value for a player. Took less money than he could have.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's locked in for 5 years. Certified core piece of the team. Now we watch him grow before our eyes.
Yeah, agreed. How do you feel about it, sir? How do you feel about the move? Feeling good about it?
Oh yeah, I mean it's solid. JJ ain't gonna be at Magic City tomorrow night or nothing like that. So. Somebody had to say it, right?
He's not gonna be ordering the lemon pepper wings.
Yeah, we ain't gonna have to. I don't think we got anything to worry about. And really, I think it's gonna be almost like he's gonna be on a prove it deal himself. You know what I'm saying? Because there'll be some who will be like, oh, he ain't really all that. Da 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 da. Because me. TLC shouldn't have been getting a lot of them minutes back in the day. But anyway, that's a whole nother story in itself. But I think JJ is really excited for this opportunity now that he really does have it now. He knows he's a solid piece of this franchise. He ain't going nowhere. That goes a long way into your confidence as well, right? Mm-hmm. So I think he's going to really, get to that upper echelon peak because, again, the talent is all there. It's always been there. But now, like I said, he gets to be another leader on the team. And I think he's going to take that responsibility pretty serious now, too.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, man. Again, team-friendly deal. It's going to look like nothing in a couple years when the rest of these phenoms start getting their deals, their extensions, and stuff like that. It's really a team-friendly for sure because, I mean, you see guys getting like $100,000 for like 3 years. So, it's definitely
100 million.
Yeah, 100 million. That's what I meant to say. 100 million. Sorry, my bad, man. I'm back on the road. But yeah, 100 million for like 3 years. And I mean, my thing is, you got this man 30 million a season, 5 years. You got flexibility. It's a possibility you can bring other guys in, make moves. You guys looking impressive this season. You'll draw some guys on because you'll be able to, take on some contracts and make some flexible moves. And we all know the Hawks need to make as many flexible moves as they can to still be competitive.
But yeah, man, is Dre's deal? Like how many more years do we have to?
He's locked in until about 2026, I believe.
Okay, so 2 more years.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, and every year it goes up like another meal. That's gonna be for him. But fellas, thank you so very much, man. I want you guys to please tell everybody where they can possibly find you and check out more of your great content.
Y'all can catch me. Oh, I was going to say that. Y'all can catch me on Believe in Hawks podcast, available on any podcast platform available to you. Also, my YouTube, Bryce_2K. You can also follow me on Twitter at Bryce_2K as well to catch up with all my Hawks content and takes as the season is getting ready to kick off. Appreciate you, Chris. Let me come on. Other Chris, nice to meet you. T-Will, always good seeing you. So, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Chris, what about you?
You can find me on IMTN Worldwide Radio. That's my broadcast channel for Around the ATL. You can also follow me on Twitter, Intellect ATL. I'm on there all the time.
Yes, sir. And T Will.
Yes, sir.
Thrill.
I don't know about that, but you can find me on 2 networks. You can find me on One Time for the Fan, which is a Falcons broadcast that airs Sunday nights at 8, Wednesday nights at 8, Friday mornings at 9 a.m. ish. Also for my ATL Sports 1, the number 4, my ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. We typically air Friday at 7 p.m. and usually Sundays or Mondays. Recap of the Falcons. We do cover Falcons, Hawks, Braves, some dogs. So there you go. Again, gentlemen, thank you for having me. Appreciate it. And hey, man, thank God. And you guys have a great day. Chris, I'm going to defer to you. Go right ahead, sir.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, A1 Forever Sports, the platform on YouTube. Definitely come on over, subscribe, like, comment, have a sports conversation. Be generational, because it's always time to be, and don't settle for less, because we always have more with the vision. You can also catch me on Twitter, so catch me on A1 Forever and the A1 Forever on TikTok. I'd like to thank all these gentlemen for taking time out of their busy schedule to, coming out to have this little Hawks preview. I'm pretty sure we're going to do more shows. It's going to be, it's a nice long season, 82 games on the way. Let's get excited for these Atlanta Hawks. I think they're going to be better than what people think. I really do. So, until next time, man, hey, for Chris Tipmore, Chris Royster, Brycey 2K, and T Will the Thrill, we'll see you next time, and I will holler.
A1. Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam.